Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a small village named Loria. It was a peaceful place surrounded by vast meadows and thick, ancient woods. But the most peculiar thing about Loria was the whispering forest that bordered it. The forest was no ordinary place. It was said that the trees in the forest could talk to each other and that they whispered ancient secrets of the world. But there was a catch. Anyone who ventured too deep into the forest would lose their way and be lost forever. The forest was mysterious, and it was feared by the villagers. They believed it was cursed, and no one dared to enter. Among the villagers, there was a young girl named Mira. She was different from the others. While everyone feared the forest, Mira was fascinated by it. She had grown up listening to stories from her grandmother about the forest's magic. Her grandmother often spoke of a time long ago when a star had fallen from the sky and landed deep within the forest. The star, according to the story, was no ordinary star. It was the source of all the magic in the forest. It shone with a bright light, and it had the power to grant one wish to whoever found it. Mira listened to these tales with wide eyes, dreaming of the day when she would explore the forest and perhaps find the lost star. But every time she mentioned it, her grandmother would warn her. "The forest can be kind, my dear," she would say, "but it can also be tricky. The magic is not always what it seems. Be careful when you listen to the whispers." One morning, after hearing the story for the 100th time, Mira made up her mind. She would find the lost star herself. She would be the one to unlock the secret of the whispering forest. She packed a small bag with some bread, water, and fruits, kissed her grandmother goodbye, and set out for the forest. "I will return soon with the star, grandmother," she said confidently. But her grandmother's face was filled with concern. "Be safe, Mira, trust your heart, and listen carefully to the forest." Mira entered the whispering forest with her heart full of excitement. The moment she stepped into the woods, the atmosphere changed. The air felt thick with magic, and the ground beneath her feet was soft and damp. The trees towered above her, their branches stretching out like arms welcoming her into their domain. The whispers were already starting, soft voices carried by the wind, but they weren't loud enough to understand. They seemed to be talking to each other, exchanging secrets, just like the stories her grandmother had told her. She walked deeper into the forest, following a narrow path that appeared to open before her. The leaves on the trees shimmered with a faint glow, as if they were alive and reacting to her presence. Birds with iridescent feathers flew overhead, singing sweet melodies that made Mira feel like she was in a dream. She continued to walk, her footsteps light and eager, knowing that her journey had just begun. Hours passed, and as she walked deeper, the forest became darker and more mysterious. The whispers grew louder, and Mira began to hear words mixed with the wind. She tried to listen carefully but couldn't make out the meaning. Some voices seemed to encourage her, while others warned her to turn back. But Mira's determination grew stronger. She had to find the lost star. Eventually, she came across a small clearing. In the center of the clearing stood an enormous tree with a thick, gnarled trunk. The tree was ancient, its bark cracked and weathered with age, and its roots stretched across the ground in intricate patterns. The branches were covered in silver leaves that glittered like stars in the dim light. The tree's presence was both majestic and intimidating. Mira approached the tree, feeling as though it was the heart of the forest. Suddenly, the whispers became clearer, as if the trees were speaking directly to her. A soft, gentle voice whispered in her ear, "The star you seek lies within the heart of this tree. Follow the roots and you will find your way." Mira stepped forward, placing her hand on the rough bark of the tree. The moment her fingers touched it, a strange energy pulsed through her, and the tree seemed to respond. The ground trembled slightly, and its roots began to shift, revealing a small, glowing orb nestled in the heart of the tree. The orb shimmered with a soft, ethereal light, and Mira could feel its warmth from where she stood. Without hesitation, Mira reached out and took the glowing orb in her hands. As soon as she touched it, the entire forest seemed to react. The whispers grew louder, and the wind began to swirl around her. The trees began to move, their branches creaking and groaning. The orb pulsed with magic, and Mira felt a rush of energy fill her, as if the entire forest was alive within her. She felt powerful, but also strange, as if the forest was trying to tell her something. But then, a voice echoed in her mind. "You must choose," it said, its tone soft but firm. "The star is powerful, but it is not meant to be kept. If you wish to keep the star, you must be willing to let the forest lose its magic forever. Or you can return the star, and the magic of the forest will continue to thrive, but you will not have your wish." Mira stood frozen, the orb glowing in her hands. The voice was clear now, and the weight of the decision pressed down on her. She had always dreamed of having her wish granted, to bring prosperity to her village, to help her grandmother live a long life. But as she looked around at the forest, she realized something important. The forest was alive, it was full of magic, beauty, and life. It was the heart of the world, and it would not survive without its magic. After a long moment of silence, Mira made her decision. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered, "I choose to return the star." As soon as the words left her lips, the orb began to glow brighter. The wind picked up, and the trees seemed to bow in respect. Mira gently placed the orb back into the heart of the tree. The moment she did, the forest seemed to sigh with relief. The whispers softened, and the magic of the forest surged once more. The trees' branches swayed as if they were singing a song of gratitude. "You have made a wise choice, child," the tree said in a deep, rumbling voice. "The magic will remain, and the forest will continue to grow. Go now, and know that you have given the world a gift that cannot be measured." With the decision made, Mira turned to leave. The path she had walked to the tree now led her back, and the forest seemed to part, guiding her safely out. She walked through the woods, feeling lighter than before, and as she reached the edge of the forest, she could see her village in the distance. When she returned to Loria, Mira was welcomed with open arms. The villagers marveled at how the forest seemed to have changed. The air was fresher, the crops were more abundant, and the animals had returned to the fields. Mira told her grandmother about the journey, about the magic of the forest, and about the choice she had made. "You did the right thing, Mira," her grandmother said, her eyes filled with pride. "You understood the forest's magic, and you chose to protect it. The world will be better for your decision." Years passed, and the forest continued to thrive. Mira became known as the guardian of the Whispering Forest, a protector of its secrets and magic. The villagers lived in harmony with the forest, and the whispers of the trees became a part of their everyday lives. And every night, as Mira sat by the window, she would hear the soft whispers of the forest, knowing that the lost star was still shining brightly within the heart of the tree.